What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week I just got a couple things to discuss and then we'll move on to your B-movie reviews. First thing that caught my eye was how the Idaho governor passed a couple bills for a couple new laws. And let me just say right now to the people of Idaho that made this happen, congratulations, good job at stopping this nonsense. I think other states need to follow suit. Basically, what he did was he passed a couple laws from this bill that people voted on. And I'm so proud of the women of Idaho for finally fighting back all this nonsense that's been going on these past several years. It has to do with, you know, people who call themselves transgenders. Everybody knows in reality there are only two genders. It's a scientific proven fact. You know, male and female. There's only two genders. You can argue about it all you want, but the facts don't care about your feelings. Anyway, what's going on is there's two main things. Women are getting tired of transgender males to men, or I'm sorry, transgender males to female entering sports events and then just destroying the competition. And you might have seen other issues on this, other videos and such about this kind of thing. But it's a proven fact that, you know, men and women are different. It's facts. You know, men are most generally stronger than women. So naturally, it has to do with muscle mass and testosterone. Naturally, they're going to, you know, beat most women at sports. That's just biology 101. You know, you can't get around it. So women are fighting back against that now, allowing you know, men who are transgendering to women to enter sports. The second thing that this law coming into effect for this bill, another law, is that I'm so happy that they did this, because this definitely needs to make sure this doesn't ever happen in any state. They blocked the transgender people from trying to force people to call them freaking females when they're not, they're men. By changing their birth certificates so that, you know, they can hide the fact that they were once men, they were born male. Regardless if you've had the surgery or not, you still were born a man. It really irritates me that they're trying to force people to go along with their fantasy of being a female and say, hey, I'm a female, you need to call me female. Well, no. You know, if you want me to call you she or her, I will. But the simple fact is, you can't change your biological DNA. You were a man. Plain and simple. There are only two genders. It is a proven fact. There are men and there are women. And just simply because you go and say, hey, I feel like being a dinosaur, now you gotta call me a dinosaur. No, I don't. You're a man. Regardless, you know, if you want me to call you a he or she or her, fine, but you're still a man, regardless. That's just reality. You're gonna have to get over that. But anyways, I'm glad they decided to enforce this law, because if every state follows suit, this would be great, because the transgender community has been really pushing it way far. And it's not good to encourage these people they have real mental issues, a mental problem. It's called dysphoria. And they're living in a delusional fantasy world, and it's not good for people to encourage and indulge in their fantasies with them and allow them to do it. If they want to go do that on their own, then fine. If that's how they want to live, fine. But you're not going to force me to believe in your delusion when I'm based with reality and facts. And facts, again, doesn't care about your feelings. The truth is in the pudding, I sort of say. I don't even think transgenders should be lumped up into the alphabet community anyway. If you want to be, I'm not against gays. If you want to be gay, be gay. And yes, it is a life choice, a lifestyle choice. That has been proven to be a scientific fact. There is no chemical imbalance that makes you gay. That's been debunked several times. But if you want to be gay, you go be gay. I don't care. I don't have a problem with gay people. But don't go trying to force me to call you something that you're really not. And then try to use the law to make me do it. No, I don't care.
You know who I am?
That's just retarded. I live in reality, not delusion. But anyways, I hope other states follow suit. I'm super proud of the women in Idaho. Good job, ladies. Good job for helping fight that crap. Because that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Okay, moving on. This week, I finally got around to watching the movie Bloodshot. I've seen a lot of people, especially on YouTube, were basically saying this movie was horrible, it was bad, they were trashing it. Honestly, I didn't think it was like super horrible or anything. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like super bad or anything. I like Vin Diesel, but I do give props to people who are trashing it because of his acting in it. He actually kind of seemed off his game in this movie. It wasn't like he did horrible, but it definitely wasn't, superb, one of his better acting roles. It just seemed like he wasn't into it all that much. That's what it felt like anyway. There was a lot of CGI done in the action sequences, which wasn't really all that great. I do agree with the whole fact that your main, not really villain, but the main henchman, the leg guy, everybody calls him the leg guy, he was horrible. He was so over the top, just terrible. I didn't like him as a henchman at all, and it is kind of funny. They think he could really hurt him with with Vin Diesel basically able to take bullets and crap and regenerate right there on the spot, like he could really do anything to him. It was kind of silly. I didn't mind, like, you know, the whole thing to do with nanobites being able to regenerate him and all that. That concept's been done before. It's not a new concept, but nanotechnology doing that, it's nothing new. But at the same time, it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. It didn't bother me any. But it ran like a typical superhero movie. I mean, it was, you know, it was. I agree that the trailer pretty much told the whole story. So you're really not missing anything when you watch the movie after watching the trailer. You literally got the whole movie in the trailer for the most part. Like I said, it was alright. It was okay. But it was a typical superhero movie, you know, just bland, I thought. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the greatest either. What really irritated me, though, was, you know, the bad guys weren't really bad guys. They were just, you know, I like Guy Pearce. He's a great actor, but he played the main villain, but yeah, just didn't do it for me. They didn't really give him a really good villain to go after, so. However, I actually thought some of this movie was actually better than some of the Marvel movies that they've come out with, especially the new Spider-Mans. I was just like, what the hell? The new Spider-Mans are trash, you know, they suck. They totally go against what Spider-Man is. And yet fucking, you know, a lot of people trash the new Spider-Mans, but not as badly as they did this movie. I was like, well, this was actually a little bit better than the new Spider-Mans, because the new Spider-Mans completely sucked. I thought they weren't really that good at all. And I can name everything that was wrong with the new Spider-Mans, but I'm not going to. Nothing will beat Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Sorry, they were awesome. But yeah, Bloodsport. If you're looking for an okay superhero action flick, it was all right. It wasn't the greatest. I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. Check it out if you want. The last thing I'm going to talk about is I just got done watching the series called Futureman with Josh Hutcherson in it, starring in it, and it's done by Seth Rogen. I should have known when I first started watching this series. There's 3 seasons on Hulu. The first season I almost didn't stop watching it after a few episodes, just because the whole idea of Seth Rogen has a real hard time getting away from sexual jokes. That's literally all he does, is a bunch of sexual jokes, and they're not funny at all. They're boring and lame. If he'd stay away from that part of his joking, it would be alright. But no, he has to go there every time. And the first season is all about herpes and the herpes wars and all this other crap. I'm just, oh my god, this is retarded. the acting's fine. The actors are really good. You know, Derek Wilson and Eliza Colbert or whatever her name is, Cooper or something. I can't think of her name. Anyways, they're all right. They don't bother me. Now they made Derek Wilson look like a dumb, stupid mother trucker. You know, he was just terrible. So dumb. I mean, they made his character really dumb. The Eliza wasn't really too far behind. Her character was pretty dumb too, but you know, there was cases where she kind of level out. The first season, though, like I said, it was over the top, joking and reacting stuff. Yeah, they were trying to be dumb. I almost didn't watch it because I'm not a big fan of movies like that, like Scary Movie and stuff like that. I like the first Scary Movie, but then they just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and it just got, the jokes got dumber and dumber each movie. So I liked the first one. The second one wasn't too bad, but after that, the Scary Movies were terrible. Same thing with this. It's really over the top, trying to be funny, and it just didn't quite do it for me. There were a couple times where I thought it was funny, but most of the time I just, okay, the jokes are getting old. But the storyline, them traveling through time and crap, that's what hooked me. And I kept watching it to find out what was going to happen next. Because whoever was writing this, except for the comedians crap, whoever wrote the sci-fi part of this, it was really cool. I liked the story. For the most part, except for the sexual crap, the whole herpes thing. That was retarded. But the rest of it was alright. If they would have done something else and called it a different type of war or something, it would have been fine. But the herpes thing was just dumb. Anyways, season 2, once you get to season 2, they're stuck in like this utopia society, and they're trying to get out. They've changed time, and things gone all wrong. Now they got to try to fix it, which, was kind of, season 2 is a little bit slow because they were stuck in one place. But eventually they get out of it, and they left a huge cliffhanger after season 2 of them being in the future, and they're stuck in this some kind of like Running Man show, where they got to face death every time they go out for a television show or some crap like that. Like they're prisoners for a television show. And when you get to season 3, it runs with that for a little bit, and then they're like time criminals. They're jumping through time, trying to get away from these time cops from the future who run the television show. But eventually everything works out, blah, 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 and everybody goes their separate ways. And that's how they end the show. Like I was saying, I like the whole science fiction element to the show. The story evolving around the sci-fi part of it was interesting. However, the so-called comedy was just a little bit over the top. Season 3 had a bunch of feminist jokes in it. I would call them feminist jokes from Eliza, whatever her last name is, the female lead. A lot of female or feminist driven jokes, which kind of offset the, I didn't care for season 3 all that much because of that. Seth Rogen joins him in season 3. Well, actually at the end of season 2, but continues in season 3. He was kind of a douche in the last season, but I don't know. my overall take was it was all right. I mean, you watch it, just the comedy wasn't all that great. The sci-fi story of it, like I said, was pretty decent. But the rest of it, if they would have left out like a lot of the over-the-top comedy they tried to throw in there because it wasn't funny, they were like trying too hard to be funny. If they would have toned it down quite a bit, it probably would have been better. So, you know, I give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. Check it out if you want. It's only 3 seasons. It was okay. Okay, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. We are back to Horror Week this week. These are a couple older movies. I've never even heard of them. I think I might have seen the cover to the first one at one point in time, back when I was really young, but I never did watch it. It was originally called Phenomena, but when it came over here to the United States, they cut off a big portion of it. It was an Italian writer and director who did the movie. Even though it was done in Sweden, makes a lot of sense. But they slashed out a good chunk of it, and then they called it Creepers over here in the United States. It was done in 1985. I couldn't find any box office to it. It starred Donald Pleasance. You probably know him from the original Halloween movies. He played the detective in them. He's in this as a professor who's, I'm not sure what it's called, ectomology or some crap like that. It's the study of insects. Forgive me if I got that wrong. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it starts with an E though. And then it had little Jennifer Connelly in it. Now, she was like 14 or 15 at the time, but she's been in quite a few movies since then. I think this is one of her very first roles. The movie is basically there's a serial killer going around this small town in Sweden, killing young girls. They can't seem to find them. The police have no leads. They can't figure it out who's doing all the killing. This girl who Jennifer Connelly plays, she transfers over from the United States to Sweden to go to this all-girl school or whatever. Really, you know, privileged children school. You know, your daddy's got to make big money to go there. Anyway, she goes there, and she has this supernatural gift, which she knows about, but she don't really know how to control it all that well. Where she can control insects. For the most part, she's very empathetic towards insects. Like, she could tell what their feelings are and that kind of shit. Anyway, she helps the police towards the end catch the killer. Which, to come to find out, spoiler alert, for all those who don't want to know the ending, she finds out it's one of the headmistresses at the school that's doing the killing. Apparently, one of the headmistresses has this deformed son, and girls make fun of him or some crap like that, and that's her reasoning for killing all these young girls, because some of the girls at the school made fun of him for his deformity, and he likes little girls, and she's trying to get him to, I don't know, get girls to like him or some crap. I don't know. But that's her whole reasoning for killing these young girls, teenage girls. Just about everyone dies except for the main detective and the young girl, Jennifer Connelly. Everybody else pretty much dies, including the headmistress woman or whatever. She calls on the insects a couple of times to help her out or whatever throughout the movie. Not really a whole lot. This movie was really fucking slow. I mean, it just dragged so bad. The interaction between Donald Pleasance and Jennifer Connelly was very, how do I say this? Almost painstaking to watch. Just, you wanted to grind your teeth every time they got together, because they would just sit there. I mean, the conversation, of course, was about insects, but it's just the way they talked about it. It just seemed to go on and on. It seemed to drag. And then the detectives, or the main detective, he was just dumber than a box of rocks. Now, I knew the killer had to be someone that they had shown previously. It just, most of the 80s and 70s flicks were like that. They'd show the killer at some point in time in the movie. You just didn't know who it was. It kind of caught me off guard who it was at the end, but because it made no sense why she was the killer. Like I said, it had something to do with her deformed boy, and the girls didn't like him, and they made fun of him, and so, I don't know, it was weird. Almost kind of like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing, but it's so, the movie was so slow, and it just dragged on and on and on. It was very boring. The story had a lot of potential with her being able to control insects and shit, but it just didn't go anywhere. I mean, it was very stale. And I saw, like, there's a couple of fans of this movie. I've seen other reviews on this, like on IMDb or some crap like that, where they're praising the genius of this Italian guy who wrote and directed this movie. And I was like, really? This dude sucks. Because the story was just terrible. It was bad. I definitely give this 2 thumbs down. The acting was okay. It was just really slow and boring. Not a very good horror flick at all. Or a movie, for that matter. Next, we're going to move on to another older movie. It was done in 1982, and it's called Q, the Winged Serpent. Or basically, it's namely just mainly named Q, but I don't know, it was a weird movie. It starred Michael Moriarty, and David Carradine was in this as well. Now, Michael Moriarty plays this, I don't know how to put it, a fumbling gangster type bad guy. Like, he's the Italian mob guy they make fun of all the time kind of guy. Because he can't do anything wrong. He fumbles everything. He screws shit up all the time. Very clumsy. Very nervous. Thinks people are out to get him all the time. Very down on his luck. Always has bad luck. He plays the part pretty damn good, I have to admit. Because I really wanted to thrash him. because he was so annoying. That's his part. I mean, he played it really good. I wanted to strangle him too. Anyway, at the beginning of the movie, he screws some diamond heist up. They steal a bunch of diamonds and crap. He loses the diamonds by getting hit by a car. Two of the guys who hired him to do part of the job comes after him, and he takes them up to the top of this building or whatever, and to the steeple part of it, and he sees this giant egg. Just a little bit before, he takes the two thug guys who try to come and get him. He tells them that he hid the diamonds up there with this giant egg. They go up there and they look, and there's this huge, like, pterodactyl up there or whatever. That they call it a bird, but it looks just like a pterodactyl. You know, it's a leathery skinned flying creature. You know, and it dinosaur-like. So it kills them. Now David Carradine plays this cop. David Carradine plays this cop who's going around trying to chase like this serial killer or whatever who's killing all these people. Anyways, him and his partner and the chief of police or the captain or whatever, they keep getting reports of this giant bird-like creature. It looks like a dragon killing people. So they know they're dealing with some kind of animal eventually. They figure that out. Well, apparently there's this other guy, and he's going around and he's filleting people, skinning them alive. And David Carradine supposedly figures out it's some type of Aztec ritual where the person is actually committing suicide. The person lets this other guy skin him alive. And it's to summon up this godlike creature, bird or whatever, that they consider a god. Anyways, you know, David Carradine finally catches up with Michael Moriarty and figures out Michael Moriarty tries to make a bunch of demands to the city, to the mayor and the chief of police. You know, he wants $1 million and all this other BS. You know, his girlfriend's not happy with him. She's had it with him, blah, blah, blah. She wants him to help the police because this thing's killing people. And he's like, no, you know, this is time for my ship to come in, blah, blah, blah. So she leaves him. David Carradine pretty much drags Mike Moriarty around till they kill this thing. They shoot up the egg to all the hell, and then they shoot up the flying monster, and that's supposedly the end of it. Well, then the serial killer that's flaying everybody for the supposedly called up the winged monster god thing or whatever, he goes after Mike Moriarty. David Carradine shows up, kills that guy, and then all is well and done. And then that's pretty much the end of the movie, until it just gets ready to roll the credits and you see it fly in on this castle-like building, and in the loft of the building is another giant egg, and that's that way they leave it off. Obviously it didn't do as good as they thought it was, because it looked like they were planning on doing a sequel, and it didn't turn out that way. You know who I am. The movie only grossed about 300,000, so it really didn't do all that well at all at the box office. Yeah, I was really kind of surprised that the acting was really fairly decent. Wasn't bad at all. The storyline was, of course, cheesy. The special effects, you know, for back then, whoever did it was fairly smart in how they did it. I mean, you would see like a claw or shadow, or you would see this slow gaze of like a bird's eye view over, you know, New York's buildings and stuff, which was really cool looking for back then. My only real complaint was the story. You know, the story was a little cheesy. I really wish they'd they changed the story a little bit, but you know, it's the 80s, so of course the story's going to be a little bit cheesy. All in all, it was actually a decent movie. I didn't mind it at all. I was kind of surprised, you know, and it was a good cheese, you know, fun cheese. So 2 thumbs up for being actually original and decent. You know, it wasn't bad. Go ahead and check it out if you want, if you like that kind of 80s horror cheese, you know. If you think you have any you know, underrated movies or classic gems that were underappreciated or something, that you would like me to review, then leave a suggestion down in the comments below. I'm just like you. I'm an average Joe, an average American. I'm just giving you the facts and my honest opinion of the movies that I review. So if you're looking for straight up, you know, an honest opinion about something, and the actual facts about a particular movie, then like I said, go ahead and leave a suggestion down in the box or a comment down below, and I'll get around to it as soon as I can. I'll review it for you. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week for a couple more classic B-rated movies. I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.